Heyo everybody, Haku here with this week's live reaction or read through for Kubera. I'm planning to do episodes 30 to 33 for season 3, so we're gonna finish off the last 4 parts of The Value of a Life. That's the plan. I'm not planning to go any further than that, but I always could, and I'm not planning to do less than that, but I don't know, if I do 2 chapters and it takes me an hour, then maybe I'll stop at the 3rd, but I think we'll be fine. I am excited to continue. Before going to continue, I went back and I reread the stuff from last week. I reread the comments from last week. And of course, right after I read last week's, I had to go reread immediately. Plus, I'm editing and all of that. So I thought last time was so good. I thought the twist was really great, really well executed. And there are so many details, again, like I mentioned, where you read it the first time and then you have the twist, and then you can read it the second time with a totally new perspective on everything. And it brings up some things. So I think there are a lot of things that I don't want to go over again because I brought it up last time, but just running through some thoughts here. And sorry if I'm running on 3 hours of sleep today, and usually sometimes that's fine, but today I am exhausted. I'm trying to stay awake. I'm struggling to stay awake. So sorry if I'm not the most mentally sharp this time around. But there were things with Claude taking over Lila's body that last time I was like, okay, it was very cool the way you would do it, where I thought that she didn't want to do that with Brilith's mind, but she was willing to. She changed her mind, but no, she's not willing to change her mind, and so Claude forces her into it, which is just another layer in all of their relationships and everything, because we know in the end what he's trying to do is, for like at the expense of everybody else, he will just try to do what's best for Lila. But I was thinking that Chandra would have at first thought, oh, she trusts me now, but then maybe if he ever finds this out, he'd feel betrayed by that. But I feel like Chandra, again, after rereading and everything, Chandra would know because he would be using insight. Again, unless Chandra just is not using insight at all, he would know that's not her. He would know that it's Claude because of the insight. He'd be able to tell those are not her thoughts. That's somebody else in there, I would think, at least, if he were using insight. So I would think that Chandra knows, unless he's purposely not using insight, in which case he may feel betrayed, like I trusted you enough to not use insight, and then I find out it's not even you who trusted me. And again, it could be like a potential danger in the future if he thinks that she trusts him and is like, come on, we gotta go, and transports, things could end badly. So it could be something where Claude is trying to do what he thinks is best for Lila, but it could be something that backfires and hurts Lila in the end. Also, different hints we got, like, I don't even know if I want to say that this is like a hint, given that it happens directly before the reveal, but things like Saha being like, I guess you don't know enough about traveling into dreams, or I forget, the dream tracking, is that what it is? I guess you don't know enough about dream tracking yet. And why would Saha be saying that to Lila? We know that Lila is like the expert, the most talented and knowledgeable one when it comes to that body of work. So it's something where that's a hint that, you know, why would Saha be saying it to somebody like that? And we pretty much immediately after that get the reveal of Claude and everything. But I think it's really good. Again, just such a tangled web of all these characters wanting different things. And in general, I think the dreamscape stuff was really cool. And there's still more mysteries of how did Saha leave a piece of himself behind here, because he's operating in the dream independently of the person having the dream, which again could be something because of the messiness with Asha's spell. There are a lot of things it could be, but if somebody can do dream tracking, which is essentially entering somebody else's dream, maybe it is possible that he could jump in there right before dying, or leave a piece of himself there in case he ends up dying. Or even just the piece of him that's remembered, the name that is remembered could activate or operate within, but also just the fact that Claude was able to go to places independent of what was being dreamed, and the information we got with the search system screen being different. All of that stuff is really cool because it's something that's happening independently of Brilith. It's something where Brilith wasn't there for that. And also, I brought up last time that for Kubera, I like so much that everything has been great. We can take so much time away from what's happening with Lise and Cossack, and I am so interested. And then we're into this really intricate and well done conflict when it comes to the attack that's going on at Calibloom, and we take time away from Calibloom. We cut away, we move away from Calibloom in order to do just 4 straight chapters of this dream stuff, and maybe 4 more. I figure by the end of this, we'll probably be tying back into everything else again. But again, we take away time from all of this stuff we'd built up to do this dream stuff, and I just think it's so good. But with that aside, don't want to ramble too much more. Let's start reading episode 30, and like usual, we'll do the afterword after each episode. We'll talk about it as we read and probably afterwards. So just starting off, we have Brilith, the door slams open. Lila, how did you... Is that why she screamed? From Brilith's perspective, the 2 figures on the floor are dead bodies, which means that black silhouette standing alone must be. I didn't do it. I just secretly followed Asha. It's her birthday. I had a present. Come on, Asha. Tell Lila what happened. If you just stand there, she might think you were involved. Brilith followed Asha here without her noticing. Is that possible? I suppose this is a dream, not reality. Nothing's impossible for the dream owner. I almost forgot that none of this is real. I need to get a drip. Get a grip. This is a dream, not get a drip. This is a dream. I need to get a grip. This is a dream. It's only a dream. Right. Getting so far in that you start to falter and think it's reality. That's probably partially because of it being Claude. But also, this is a way to, again, convey to us as an audience that this isn't just a flashback. If it was just a flashback, it's like, okay, we could trust what we were seeing is true. This is a dream. It's a dream based on things that happened in the past, but it's not a real flashback. So some of this could be wrong, or some of it could be skewed toward Brilith's mind and her interpretation of things. Because she's trying to remember the truth. She's going through it again and again, with her body kind of rejecting it, but also trying to bring her closer to reality. But the thing is, it is still not a real flashback. It's Brilith's dream. We see a figure outside? It's it's a dream. It has to be. Everything apart from Brilith is just an illusion. None of it exists. What? Stop saying weird stuff, Asha. You didn't do it. It wasn't you. Wake up, Brilith. You're dreaming. Ignore what she's saying. It doesn't matter. It's only a dream, and back in reality, it's N23. What are you talking about? It's not enough. Now what do I... Again, this could be... Again, presuming Claude's still in control and everything, this is a potential problem with him doing this. Is that he thinks he's doing what's best, but he isn't the actual expert that can do this properly without anybody getting hurt like she is. We have the figure leaping in with a blade. He grabs the arm. Here's where it's obviously a dream. If this was the real Asha, she would have used Indra magic with the Vara. And it starts to fade into view, so it's becoming real. Again, much like Saha, again, if you're good enough at magic, could you just leave a part of yourself behind in somebody's psyche as part of the dream? Like, that's at least my current theory on how this is happening, that Saha was strong enough, good enough at magic to leave a piece of himself behind in the dream. And if Saha is, then we know that Asha will be. Hoti Indra. And we have the lightning strike down. The value of a life, part 5. That should have killed you. When it comes to manifestations of the will like this, you can tell who owns the dream. A priestess who's never killed anyone really doesn't help. What is this? A dream character who appears real and uses magic. It doesn't make sense. So, manifestations of the will. So it's a manifestation of Saha's will that was directing him, I guess, and now a manifestation of Asha's will trying to stop him. But even though Asha's will wanted to kill him and stop him, there are limitations because this is still Brilith's dream, and for somebody like Brilith who wouldn't kill anybody, it would be hard to kill somebody in her dream. You're starting to wonder whether this is really a dream, aren't you, Claude? Why'd you come? You shouldn't have poked your nose into this. I let you be when I could have killed you a long time ago. What are you doing, Asha? Let go. No, I don't know why you're doing this, but get a hold of yourself. This isn't... She lets go of the Vajra, and Brilith falls over. You're the one who should get a hold of yourself. How pathetic. We'll have to finish our conversation before she wakes up and interrupts again. You're obviously not here because you're worried about Brilith. You're here because if something happens to Agni's summoned state, Lila, Chandra's summoner, will have to bear a heavier burden. Am I right? If so, stop tracking this dream immediately and go back to your reality. If you want to see Lila again, you should take this last chance I offer you. Okay, so I don't know. This isn't like the present Asha also dream tracking. This is like a piece of will left behind within Brilith's dream, because it doesn't feel like saying go back to your reality and everything doesn't feel like this Asha actually knows the grander scheme of what's going on outside. She's just here to prevent interference in Brilith's dream. A dream character who reads my mind and offers me a chance when she was prepared to kill me earlier. I see. I think I get it now. The thing I didn't about dream tracking. Claude, you need to take sleeping pills in order to use Bhavati Yama, right? Does it feel like you're dreaming then? I think I know now how things that shouldn't have been possible happened inside Brilith's dreams, and now it's clear what I have to do to wake Brilith up. But if I do it, then I... And he starts fading. It's the right decision. Go back. Be your usual self if you want to see your beloved Lila again. You don't care what else happens as long as Lila survives. Yes, Claude, that's exactly like you. It's fortunate at least that you take action for Lila's sake. I don't like this. Okay, hold on. I need to just take more in. So, the sleeping pills, maybe the dreaming getting closer to death, potentially. Like sleeping, dreaming is maybe just a state closer to death, and that's how you enter the dream realm. And maybe that's what he's learning, because we're bringing up the Bhavati Yama. You don't care what else happens as long as Lila survives. Yes, Claude, that's exactly like you. It's fortunate at least that you take action for Lila's sake. I don't like this, but I'm going to trust in your one positive quality. Now that you've come this far, what do you think you have to do to earn Lila's understanding? Think about it and give it your best shot. So, last chapter's words. And he charges up and punches Asha. Foolish, you've just thrown out your last chance. Do you think you can defeat me here? Stop bluffing. Don't you know how strong a dream tracker is inside a dream? If you want to kill me, you'll have to at least use Bhavati Indra. I was just about to. Bhavati Indra. Die. You've lived too long. You should have died during the cataclysm. But then, you're the one who should have died. So I guess what he needed to do was trust Brilith. You should have died on Karte. Wasn't it enough to accidentally hit me once with Bhavati Indra? I'm not strong enough, and I don't have any protective gear. I really almost died this time. Really, really cool. And again, from Claude's perspective, I think what he needed to do was trust in, like, to earn Lila's understanding, was to trust in Brilith, because Brilith is the owner of the dream. And in trusting Brilith, instead of leaving and letting the dream play out like it would, it gives Brilith a chance to stand up for herself and work through her feelings. Because I think this is not only from the past, but also from, I mean, technically still the past, but from what we saw at the end of season 2, just her working through her feelings and realizing how things were with Asha. All right, to be continued. Very good chapter. Really good stuff. Again, I like all the things we're doing with the characters here. There was really good stuff done with Saha last time that ties into this time. And I wonder how Lila will end up feeling about all this in the end. But it's big for Claude's character, and I think really big here for Brilith's character, and we'll see where she goes. One thing that kind of a criticism. I think I kind of had a similar criticism toward the end of season 2 is Asha being a bit too evil. Like, it's one thing when it's like, okay, she's bad, but we see the point she was coming from and maybe having her be conflicted about it. And I'm usually one to not say that's a criticism. I'm usually one to be like, yeah, I want the villains to actually be really messed up evil people, but that's generally not really necessarily Asha's character, or not how it read at some points. So after the turn to just be so brazenly, openly evil at points is sometimes a bit much. I feel like we could be more subtle at times with Asha after the reveals. But either way, let's check out the afterword before continuing. This time we start with the link and an expression that is hard to see now. If you missed this expression later on, you can just binge watch it. Then here comes the great power. Among the 5 Vahras, Asha possesses one specialized for Hoti Indra. Part 2, Chapter 64. However, the actual form when wielding the Vajra and using Hoti Indra is not always the same. This is because the item only enhances the power, and the application is performed directly by the mage. Sister, I thought that bird was missing a wing. Then there are a lot of people who want me to draw Lila's face properly, but since parts of it have already been revealed, you can just put them together and imagine it. It's not like she has a scar on her forehead, so she'll probably look exactly as you imagine. Just like with the last episode, I feel a bit empty to write a review without including crucial details. How lame. Alright, very good. I love the extra information and everything. It's always nice to check out the afterword, but we still have 3 more to read, so let's move on. On to episode 31, Value of a Life Part 5. We are back with fire raining down. Okay, so we're not back to where Agni is with that conflict. This is from Brilith Within the Dream. I wanted to keep it. It was okay if I couldn't use silent magic. There was something I wanted to protect until the very end. I hoped I would never have to know. It's too late now. So yeah, she's been running from these memories and feelings about Asha ever since the first time. But now, after the second time, she's finally having to confront it, getting her memories back. Because of you, I'll end up even farther away from him. No, because of me. Because I was foolish enough not to give up on you sooner. And again, from her perspective, she wanted to believe in the good in Asha, and it just drove her into a spot where now she's been driven away by people who were good to her, by people who did care about her, because she tried to help somebody who wasn't good for her. Because of all the good that so many of these characters, so many of these people did for Asha, Asha did very much the reverse of reciprocating all the good they did and all the goodwill they extended to her. She really, really just used all of them and hurt all of them and made all of their lives worse. And there was somebody else I was thinking about with this line too. Like, I was foolish enough to not give up on you sooner. I guess maybe in some ways you could apply it to Mirha, but who I was thinking of was Lorraine. This was, again, something that Lorraine was probably Yasha's biggest believer, and we saw where that got her. She was more shocked than any of us. And we see the dream will Asha getting consumed by the flames. The Value of a Life, Part 6. Everyone says you're probably the best silent magic user on the planet, Mr. Claude. My bad reputation. It's strange, though. People say the better you are at silent magic, the more you lose your humanity. It's the other way around. You lose your humanity, then you become good at silent magic. But the magicians around me are mostly good at silent magic, and I've never felt like they were any less human. You don't know the subtle difference, then. It's the difference between someone who's committed a certain act and someone who hasn't. Most of the magicians around you would have crossed that line during the cataclysm. Just stay the way you are. For a magician of your talent to have that part of you intact after all this time is truly lucky. And again, the part that is willing to kill somebody. Because even though she's not literally killing Asha here, it is accepting that she is willing to kill somebody. What happened? You were just watching things, or until things got this bad, and we have the attendants being scolded. I don't know who here are just attendants or who are actual priest candidates. We thought he was just sleeping. There was an empty sleeping potion. It's bad. I can't detect any mental activity at all. Damn it, Claude. Send letters out to the cities and get in contact with Irie right now. Yes, yes. And then we see Lila's body slump over. Lila? Wake up, Lila? That little... If you had to do it, then at least bring her back properly. And, okay, so Chandra did know. And I wonder if it is a thing, something that he's realizing with Bhavati Yama, is that he's basically maybe temporarily killing them or something. Because his vitals have stopped, and now she's collapsing, and Chandra says bring her back, so maybe Chandra understands that it is Bhavati Yama, that it does have to do with, like, maybe coming close to death or temporarily dying. But it's something that the humans don't necessarily know the full details of. And again, that could be connected to dream tracking similarly. What do you mean? Bring her back, you said. I meant that you should finish, or that you should bring back Brilith and finish your dream tracking. Dream tracking? Me? Yes, we came here because you said you wanted to track Brilith's dream. Okay, so he is pretending, at least to Lila, that he didn't know it was Claude in there. It seems Claude used Bhavati Yama on me and came here in my stead. Did you not notice? It should have been obvious through insight that I wasn't my normal self. There's no time to hesitate. Time is of the essence. Fine, let's go. We're going. But if things go wrong, it's not my responsibility. Even if you end up dying and going to hell, I'm not looking in on you. If you feel the least bit sorry, stop trying to scare me with childish lies about blasphemy. Your insolence really goes too far. I don't know about anyone else, but you're really going to... I forgot to bring that up when I was talking about in the intro about Chandra realizing. Upon rereading, this line makes so much more sense for Claude, because this is how a lot of them have talked about Claude. Do you think I'm always using insight on you? Why would I, when you're always insulting me in your thoughts? And so, where is Brilith now? And she's gone. Where's the Staff of Agni? Huh? The Staff of Agni? Doesn't Agni have it with him? No, he hasn't been able to touch it since he used the neutral bow 7 years ago. It must be kept somewhere in the temple. Do any of you know? We don't. Even if it's in the temple, only Brilith would know where. So, is Brilith going to go on an Asha hunting mission now that the memories are back, which means that Asha's back? Is this why her and Agni are going to be separated, basically? because she's running off to hunt Asha, potentially? Is something wrong, Chandra? We're going to Calibloom. What? No, I can't. I already know you're fine. We found out on the way here. And he takes off with her? What's going on? Is she done with the dream tracking? Brilith isn't here. And we see the portal opened in the sky still, but they're just still bringing strong people here. Is it going to get even crazier? Hotiosopines. Huh, Claude. I think it'll take more than a few kicks to forgive you this time. So that is interesting. Claude was saying trust her, but I guess the travel depends on if the original owner of the body trusts you or not the current spirit inhabiting it. Because Chandra was like, okay, we know now that you'll be fine. So I guess Chandra was like, okay, Claude was like, okay, you need to trust Lila. Travel, she'll be fine. And after traveling and finding out that she's fine, we know that Lila did trust him. So I guess maybe it didn't depend on Claude trusting him, it depended on Lila, the travel the first time even. And that's why Chandra was so willing to go for it this time. Claude, I think it'll take more than a few kicks to forgive you this time. I don't know if he'll be fit enough to kick. If Brilith is woken up in this state, it's likely that Claude isn't safe either. Okay, and Brilith has made it here to the portal. That looks so cool. That's a really cool panel. Huh? Brilith got herself to Calibloom on her own. Yes, I understand now why Agni was so overprotective. I don't know if even I can stop her now. We'll have to hope that she still believes in protecting the city. To be continued. Okay, crazy levels of development for Brilith. This stuff is good with her losing that part of herself from before. And again, the hugest part of this has to do with Asha. So is she going to go hunting Asha at this point? Because it seems like that's where any of her feelings of negativity or inadequacy are coming from right now. So does she need to go find Asha to have somewhere to direct those feelings? But it's really cool too, especially after a lot of Season 2. Season 1, we got a good amount of Brilith. Season 2, we really barely saw her. We saw a bit of Agni still, and we saw her through what was going on with Agni, but Brilith herself really didn't get too much of a focus at any point. She was really just there as Agni's love interest during some of his development. So it's nice seeing her get the focus here. So with that aside, let's go check out the Afterword. Afterword this time, starting with the link again, we have the sky is pierced, similar to Hoti Agni, but different. When is this taken? We can estimate it based on the length of Brilith's hair. Then Lila holding breath. In the scene, Lila was originally lying on her back looking at the ceiling. However, because of the masked face, she didn't look like she had lost consciousness, so I changed her position to lying face down. Even then, having her face visible through the side of the mask seemed to break the atmosphere, so I covered her face completely with a black shadow so it wouldn't be visible. Then, a good place for mob hunting. Hwacheon's staff is similar in basic form to when Jibril used it, but the shape of the flames is different. This is not a difference in animation, it's actually different. The color of the flames is also different. Okay, so the wielder's having an effect on the way the staff looks and everything. It looks very cool here. I love the little wing bit coming off the side of it. I like that part of the staff. It sets it apart from your usual sort of staff look. Very cool though, and with that aside, another great chapter down. Let's go check out the next chapter. Let's go to chapter 32. And because of editing, I am acutely aware. I get so annoyed with myself when editing. I really need to do better with my Kubera transitions, because in my Kubera videos, it's always just, let's go check out the afterward. Let's go check out the next chapter. Let's go check out the afterward. So repetitive. This, like, the same thing. I mean, how else do you say it? I just naturally fall into it. But then when I'm editing, I am so frustrated by it. I'm like, say something different. Do something that is different. I really get annoyed with the same exact thing repeated again and again and again. So there is that. Also, with the title, Value of a Life, I think so far my thoughts on it, I don't know if I've brought it up yet, but I've been thinking about it this whole time as we've been reading. The different takes that I can have on it maybe will be more developed with these next two chapters, but also there will probably be ones I realize later on and I'm like, dang it, why didn't I say that? But I think it started out to me sort of like, oh, is this the value of a life in the sense that, and I think this is where we could like be transitioning to the beginning of, oh, it makes sense because we're doing this, and then the end, it makes sense for a different reason. In the beginning, I was like, the title makes sense because Brilith's life is at stake, but Claude is willing to go through with a dangerous thing going into the dream, or even before knowing it was Claude, Lila's going into something dangerous. She could be killed, forever lost, or whatever because of going into the dream in this kind of state. But you have to weigh that by what Lila would think was best or what Claude thought was best for Lila. So I was thinking that was where it was going, but then the more immediate, obvious reason for the title sort of becomes that's what, and we were talking about silent casting even before getting into this stuff with Brilith, really, before she went unconscious in all last section of chapters. So that's kind of a part that plays in here with her being unwilling to kill someone and the change with being good at silent magic being the willingness to kill someone, and the value of the life has to do with that. So we're starting this time with Calibloom upper checkpoint. Everyone inside, or is everyone inside the checkpoint? There's no one left out there, right? It's such a relief that Agni arrived in time. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for all of us to get to the checkpoint unscathed. Whereas Agni, and we have Kurigam in the background. I actually caught one. Rare, actual me picking up on one while reading. Where's Agni now? He disappeared in the middle of fighting them. He probably went out there temporarily to let us escape. He can't use any major transcendentals because of the barrier of chaos. It makes more sense for him to go back and take charge of the barrier and use the turrets to fight. That's true. Teo, what about Kaz? He's still in the Chaos Temple with that Garuda. We can't do anything except trust him and wait. Don't be so worried. Kaz must have something in mind. Huh? Kaz? I thought he was just being clueless. Really? That's how it seems to you? Sometimes Kaz scares me with how fast he catches on. We see a flash. Look, Agni must have started attacking again. But why is he not using the turrets? We have the value of a life, part 7. My God, Agni, there's no reason for you to overexert yourself. It's enough for you to maintain the barrier until Chandra returns. We're doing our best to find out why the turrets aren't operating. That attack wasn't mine. He already said he can't use attack transcendentals because of the chaos barrier. Right. Then what was that just now? If it's not a transcendental, magic? Maybe someone used magic despite the barrier's influence. Then you mean that was Hoti Agni? It's theoretically possible if the spell is used along with silent magic, although Jibril was the only one who could. And we see everything being burned away by Brilith's flames. Temple of Chaos. Sorry, I don't have the book memorized. We have to go read it again. Slow. He's too slow. And he's humming like we're out on a walk. Is he crazy? This is wasting too much time. So I wonder, is he actually stalling Marina? But finding out from that priestess will probably be more difficult. Interesting that they went with just the two of them, though, since Marina can't communicate directly to him unless they brought one of the tablets or something. Should I reveal that I'm a superior Shura and threaten him instead? This one looks much younger and stupider than the priestess. If I scare him, he might hurry up. Ah, that sky reminds me of ages ago. Have you seen the sky look that red before? It's uncommon in any other city. Uncommon? It's common enough in the Shura realm. Not that these humans would know. You've taken this ideal environment all to yourselves. Before I came to Calibloom, it was only twice that I saw a sky that red. The first time was during the 10th month of N15, and the second was in the 12th month. Both times I was in Atera. Apparently it was a superior Shura from the Garuda clan that did it. Even during the first attack, I even saw it from afar. Right. So, it's crazy how quickly he puts things together, but on top of that being said about him, he would also have pretty much just as much, if not more, reason for revenge than Lee's. Because he was away from the village when, for him, everything including Lee's was gone. During the first attack, even if I saw it from afar, it was a bird the size of a mountain, with a white mane and red feathers. I wasn't living in Atera, I was visiting from a nearby village to buy my friend a birthday present, and then the attack happened. Later I found out that the superior Shura destroyed my village before coming to Atera. All the while I was choosing a birthday present. And that Shura is still alive. It attacked Rentalo and Arrow Plateau in N16, and then it disappeared. N16 jump scare. I was reading and I was like, excuse me? In N16, and then it disappeared. It must be biding its time somewhere because of the gods. Maybe. It's somewhere behind those Shuras right now. If it appears here, what should I do as a priest candidate? I'm not powerful like Teo is, yet, and there's not much I can really do. But I'm not going to run away. I'm going to do everything I can to stop it. Of all people, a survivor from that village, if I reveal myself, things will be even more difficult. I'll have to continue pretending to be a half. Why are you looking like that? Is it what I just said? And the awkward. You're okay? We should keep going? Okay. By the way, why does he never shut up? Why are you looking for the Eye of Perishment? It's an item that lets superior Shuras develop. Can Habs use it to develop as well? I don't think I saw that in the book. I didn't read it properly though, so maybe I don't remember. Anyway, if you're planning on using it, you should reconsider. There's a reason why it's called the Eye of Perishment. Cully's items are almost all like that, but the Eye of Perishment's supposed to be the worst in terms of breaking the laws of the universe. Anyone who chooses to use it, or to use one, has to pay a terrible price. And it's used because the results are worth that price. Developing to the 5th stage might take tens of millions of years, or hundreds of millions. If that interminable time can be cut down, and the power of a 5th stage Rakshasa becomes mine now, and if I can help my clan even a little with that power, that is of far more value than my life. We're here. Hold this guy and wait here for a bit. The defense system is on, so only people with the right birth attributes can enter the room. And he's left with Lee's. Okay, we have Kaz going in and looking back. To be continued. What a good chapter. That conversation was so good. Some of the conversations they've done so far in this Calibloom conflict have been so good. Especially some of the stuff with Marina. And it's really just one-sided. We're the only side that's hearing Marina's side of things. So what's actually happening is just Kaz speaking. And between him speaking and Marina's thoughts on it, so good. So good. And then we have the stuff with Agni and Brilith at the beginning. Everything's amazing right now. So, with that aside, and now I mentioned being able to be like, oh, this character wants this character wants that, and that's showing why all the different characters are doing what they're doing. But now we have some mystery in it. We don't really know what's going on in Brilith's head. We can guess what's going on in Agni's head because for him, it's like seeing Brilith use this kind of silent magic, he knows that something has changed with her. And she is not going to be the same Brilith that he had in his life before. So we can kind of tell what's going on there, but we don't know exactly how Brilith is thinking. We don't know how dark her thoughts have gotten after everything with Asha and her memories of Asha coming back and how she's processed them now. Not just processing the fact that they're coming back now, but also what's happened for years and years. And then we also don't know exactly what Kaz is going with. Because if he can tell, because like Teo hinted, he can catch on to things quickly. If he can tell that Marina is who Marina is, then what are his thoughts and plans here? Because he should want revenge more than basically anyone. It would make, because his family's gone, Lee's is gone, like to him, Lee's is gone, everybody's gone. And he was away when it happened. So he should basically want revenge more than anyone. He brought it up. But at the same time, he kind of has to work together with Marina here. So how much has he put together already? But we don't know his thoughts there. Like what are his plans? How much has he put together at this moment? Okay, very, very good chapter. Incredibly good as usual. And with that aside, I will go and now read the afterword. We're starting with the link and natural prison sentence. There's a story about Jibril's Hoti Agni. You can see how Jibril used Hoti Agni in part 1, chapter 64. Then Kazren, believe it or not, I'm in my 20s as a total chatterbox. The owner of Chatter capable of pissing Marina off. What do you think that attack is? Then someone who's using 2 of those bad items stacked on top of each other. Interesting. From this you can see that there's not just one mortal eye, but several. Then you know a leash is essential when taking a walk, right? My dog walks around on a leash that looks like it's over 2 centimeters thick. I only realized my mistake after he broke 2 leashes as a puppy, so I bought the sturdiest one I could find. The part that goes around his neck is even a metal chain. It's a bit sad, but I have no choice if I want to take him for walks. On the other hand, the fact is that I let him roam completely free at home. You want to talk about the work, not this kind of small talk? I don't know, I think it's cute, having the stuff. Bananas are cute. That's all for now. Adorable. I don't know, I like the little Kurigam stuff, talking about her dog and everything. Really nice, really good, loved that chapter once again, but we have one more chapter in the value of a life, so let's finish out this segment and see how I'm feeling after that. Okay, finishing things off with 33. This is almost certainly going to be the last one that I read for this week, just because by the time we finish this is totally going to be like close to an hour-long video probably, and I've been loving this. I can't wait to see what happens next time already, but finishing off this segment, I wonder how we'll go because we still have so many pieces moving around. So many things are up in the air with the story right now. There's so many things happening. And I was thinking to myself just yesterday, the day before maybe, I think it was yesterday, again, getting some random Haku internal thoughts. I was thinking, I was like, because I was like bored doing stuff, and I was like, well, while I'm doing this, I always think about random stuff, and one thing I thought about was, how would I rank how much I enjoy all the different stuff I do on the channel right now? Like, if anything had to go, what would it be? And for me, one thing that I thought about with ORV is I really, really enjoy doing ORV on the channel. I haven't done it in probably a couple months. I probably should have done some reviews and stuff while it was on break, but I just haven't. But my enjoyment of it is still like A tier, if not up in S tier. It is one of my most enjoyed series, even though I haven't been talking about it or anything at all. I've been enjoying not talking about it. I've been enjoying having a break. And before that, I was not only doing the read-throughs, but I was rereading the entire thing and taking notes on it. And every read through, I was talking about the chapters I reread and stuff like that in the intro. And I was loving it and spending hours and hours on it. And right now, I'm loving it and loving taking a break from it. Pretty soon, eventually, whatever, I will do stuff with it again. But I was just thinking about it that way. Kubera, much the same. I never stopped really, really enjoying it, but it was also kind of nice to have a break. Did I plan to take that far away from Kubera? Absolutely not. No way I planned that much. But I still really liked the series, even being away from it. It was just a matter of when can I get back to it? And where I am right now, Kubera, in terms of how much I enjoy doing videos on it, like how much, like that's what I was saying, how much do I enjoy making videos on it? Because I think the bottom for me was actually Hitoner, so sorry about anybody who's been here watching the Hitoner stuff. I like it, but I often come away from some of my read-throughs feeling like, okay, I didn't really input that much. I just kind of read. I didn't feel like I had that much to say. So it's one of those things where I'm really liking it, but does it need to be a video? I don't know. I feel like I'm not inputting enough. So that was kind of at the bottom, and Kubera for me is top 3 at least, maybe top 2. I can't say it's number 1 because I'm really loving doing the Reiwa no Dara-san videos and really loving Giant Ojo-sama, and I think which of the 3 of those I prefer most will probably change depending on the week. Most weeks I have absolutely loved the Reiwa no Dara-san stuff, but as we've gotten into the more recent chapters, I have again still loved and adored it, but I've been like, you know, I'm still having fun with it, but it hasn't like blown me away as much as it did when it was fresh and new and I had just started. And the same thing with Giant Ojo-sama, where there have been some weeks where I'm like, yeah, that was a good read through. And then there are some like this week where I was like, wow, I read volume 8, like the back half of it basically, and I was like, wow, volume 8 was cooking. That was so much fun. So it depends. Same thing with Kubera. Depending on the week, it might be 3rd place or it might be 1st place. Who knows? But that is how much I have been enjoying doing the videos on it. And bringing up this side tangent story, I had a point. Like, before I brought this up, I was like, how much I am enjoying it leads into something. But now I don't remember what that was, so I don't even remember why I went on that side tangent to begin with. I don't even remember why. But point is, I am really, really, really loving Kubera right now. And I have been, even when I was taking time away from it. Again, it's like with ORV. And funny enough, when I was going through that in my head, I still rank Tower of God really highly. I still really, really enjoy talking about Tower of God. I mean, if I didn't, I wouldn't yap about it for over 30 minutes when the chapter could probably be read in less than 10 minutes every single week. I really enjoy making videos on Tower of God. I just wish I could make those videos on Tower of God and praise and glaze. I wish I could be really, really positive about it. Sadly, I really enjoy making videos on it, but it just hasn't been very good in a long time. Whereas Kubera, I'm really enjoying it, and it's actually really good. So, I don't know. I got caught off on a side tangent. I don't even know why I wanted to bring up how much I was enjoying Kubera, but let's finish out this segment of the story. We're starting with Lee's in 4K HD and Marina. Mammals that have evolved normally almost never have multiple tails. You're probably a degenerated descendant of the Yaksha clan. Your ancestors several million years ago would have been Yaksha Shuras. But as inferior Shuras continued to mate, their descendants degenerated, and now humans have put you on a leash. It would have been better for you to die than to maintain this pathetic existence. Okay, again, the Shura supremacist Marna. And it just pees. Not that you would know, with the strength and intelligence of a mere animal. If this were the Shura realm, your life would be worth nothing. You have the item with you, right? At a time like this, you wouldn't be looking for a way to use the item if you don't have it. Here, give it to me. You don't have it? Then I can't explain how to use it. I need the item so I can show you. And we have the value of a life, part 8. And now we have back to the Hoti Agni destroying everything. Agni's barrier is absorbing fire attacks without any damage. Right now it's better for him to maintain the barrier. Can we not approach Brilith to check on her state? I'm a little concerned. It's dangerous. If we approach her now, I don't know what she'll throw back at us. When Agni made his staff, he put a considerable amount of his power into it. As far as I know, it's the item that contains the most divine power after the neutral bow. Enough that you would be at risk? Well, it's not like she can use all of the power, so she can't kill me, but depending on what skill she uses, she could die instead. It's better to leave her alone until the Turakas open their eyes. The barrier's perfect. There's no reason to deter Brilith from attacking. Go inside the temple. That is true. Right now, she's putting herself in danger with this attack, going all out and stuff, but if Chandra got involved, it might agitate whatever mental state she's in at the moment and make things even more dangerous for her. So really the danger is for the Taraka, but the danger isn't for Chandra and Lila so much as it is, like, for them getting involved. The danger isn't as much for them as it is for Brilith. Go inside the Temple of Earth. I'm going to amplify Brilith's attacks to get rid of as many Tarakas as possible before they open their eyes. Brilith's mother was my friend, Gibralagis. People said she had mastered the art of silent magic. In the end, she deteriorated to a point where she could see no difference between living and inanimate things. She said that if she could, she wanted to return to a time before she knew how to use silent magic, and that she hoped her daughter would never know how to use it. I know. Gibril's last remaining memory after she died was her daughter. You met Gibril? It must have been in heaven then. She spent her whole life serving her city. Okay, before we get cut off by him saying something really sad, probably, it is interesting. We're continuing with the value of a life stuff, where we're seeing that she got to a point with the willingness to kill, the ability to use silent magic, that what is the value of a life? What's the difference between something alive and an inanimate object? And maybe people had to learn to think that way. I guess that's getting into a mindset that people have to have during times of war and stuff. Again, they mentioned with a lot of the people who went through the cataclysm being able to use silent magic, because you have to kill Shuras, even though they are living things. There were so many of them attacking that you just had to be willing to kill or be killed. And on top of that, they weren't even all evil. Some of them were just innocent Shuras trying to live their lives, and innocent halves trying to live their lives that were just attacking because of the emotional resonance. So at that point, you again just had to kill things that weren't even evil necessarily. They were just things that wanted to kill you, and you needed to kill them first. But also the value of a life plays into what Marna was thinking. Marna very clearly this entire time has valued Shuras differently from humans. I mentioned it way back, I think, before we even got to the value of a life, how humans to him are inconsequential. Like, yeah, he's willing to make a deal and not kill humans, or maybe he would just break his deal after getting what he wants, because to him, they don't matter. Like, why would he kill? Like, he's not going out of his way to kill them. He doesn't need to kill them. He doesn't necessarily care whether he kills them or not, I don't think. They don't matter, but he views Shura, and especially Shura that are from allied clans, is different. And he even extends that to halves. Halves are just, Shuras that have intermingled with humans. He views halves in a more sympathetic way than we've seen from a lot of characters, which makes him an interesting and layered character that I've brought up a lot before, where even a lot of the humans don't treat halves well, but it's an interesting and layered character, seeing how kind Marina has been to halves multiple times, while also having a complete disregard for killing humans. Um, and then on top of that, with him being Ashura and the way he sees being Ashura, you eat lesser Shuras. That's just how you survive. That's just what you do. So he sees Shura in a different way than he sees humans, and he clearly cares for Shura kind in a certain sort of way. He's always, talking about how much better Shuras are, or how much more Shuras matter than the humans, especially, or gods. But for him, he still has to view some Shuras as lesser. If you're a Shura, you have to eat lesser Shura to keep growing and keep surviving. So that's just what happens for you. So as much as he views some, like he views all as above humans, he views some as less than others. And again, one that has deteriorated to the point where it's basically just an animal, he's like, you would have been nothing in the Shura realm. And again, that conflicts with his idea of the value of a life. In the Shura realm, if again a Shura so weak and degenerated and the bloodline so thinned out were born there, it would just be eaten for food for a greater Shura to grow. Whereas in the human world, it's something that can be given a name, can live its life being pampered and treated kindly, and it's just a difference in the way that the human realm works than the Shura realm that conflicts with Marina's perspective. But continuing on, I know Jibril's last remaining memory after she died was of her daughter. You met Jibril. She must have been it must have been in heaven then. She spent her whole life serving her city, and it's probably going to be sad. She probably went to hell because she was so willing to just kill indiscriminately. Heaven? After what you said not so long ago, you still want to believe that I exist in heaven? Lila, the gates of heaven only open to those who have upheld the most important value of all. That's the only criterion. Even an inferior Shura may pass through those gates, and even the highest gods may remain barred from them. So that's weird. Heaven isn't just a realm of the gods here. Heaven in the world of Kubera, if you have maintained the value of a life, as I'm assuming the important value, if you've maintained the value of a life, you can go in. Even if you're a Shura, even if you're weak, you can go through. It's not about how strong or weak you are, and it's not about whether you're a god or a human or a Shura. You can't enter if you haven't upheld the value of a life. And it seems like, again, most of these characters who've had to go through this stuff haven't maintained the value of a life. And I think that, again, I think that you could still kill while maintaining the value of a life, because you value that, again, you value that life, but something like the Cataclysm, it's either them or me. But again, maybe the value in the world of Kubera is not. Maybe if you judge them versus you and choose you and put the value of your life over the value of another's, even if you do that. And I guess, not a lot of people would go in, because that means that even if you, like, everybody has to eat, and I think Shura generally only eat other Shura. They can't eat vegetables, yeah, so especially weak ones, they would just immediately die. You have to put your life above some other lives. If it's just to survive, like, I killed because I had to survive, I killed because I had to eat, then maybe it's different. And again, maybe you could even be a mass murderer. You could kill so many people, but it has to do with what's on the inside, I guess. If you still see the value of a life on the inside, then maybe you're still good. But it's all about whether or not on the inside you give up on that or not. But I actually love that concept of, if a god, and most of the gods have probably lived long enough that it's hard for them to maintain the value of a life. So most of the gods even probably can't get in there at this point. But it's, I actually think, a really cool thing in that it's a very kind way to write this world, in a way, because we've seen so many harsh things. The Shura world is bleak. It is super bleak. And then the human world constantly getting attacked and destroyed and stuff. The gods live for all this time and have to deal with the consequences of that and everything. I think it's almost an interesting form of justice in the world of Kubera that all of the most powerful and long-lived beings will probably have the hardest time making it into heaven. All of these gods, they have lived so long and seen so much death that how can they maintain that value? And all of the most powerful sorcerers and humans and stuff, the fighters, the magicians, they're that powerful because, like, they had to survive and stuff. And so, if them being that powerful is because they had to kill and they had to fight to get that powerful, they're going to lose that value. And the Shura, of course, having to fight and kill and devour other Shura in order to gain the XP and level up and evolve and get stronger, then if you were having to go through that, it's going to be hard for the Shura. So all of the strongest, most powerful humans and Shura and gods are going to have the toughest time making it there, where it seems like heaven in the world of Kubera is reserved for the victims, for the kind, for the people at the bottom of the rung that just were born, tried to exist, and were wiped out by magic or Shuras or gods. Because again, the gods and the Shuras and magicians just wipe out life all the time. So I think it's an interesting, like, sort of kind justice in the world of Kubera, that the weakest and lowliest are the ones who I think have the best, set up to make it into heaven, whereas all the survivors, all the strong, are the ones who would have the hardest time. And Chandra leaves. So this is it, the Eye of Perishment. It's bigger than I thought in its default state. I guess it shrinks when it becomes an ornament? It can't be helped, since he says he can't explain without the item. That idiot is hardly going to try anything, but if he refuses to return it, I can just take it from him by force. Okay, let's start. First, you put the item on your palm like this, and you call the name of the goddess. Then you say out loud the first thing that you want to do after you obtain greater power. But you can't say just anything. Look, Kali, I want to make everyone in the world happy. It's normal for nothing to happen, since it's impossible for everyone to be happy. Now, I'll try saying something that's actually possible. Kali, I want this universe to be destroyed. Okay, shocking panel. Nothing happens. For a second there, does this kid even know what he's talking about? Patience wearing thin. It's normal for it to not work as well, or work this time as well. I didn't actually mean it. If it's a false wish, the item ignores it. Now lastly, I'll say something that will actually get the item to respond. Kali, I don't want to lose any more friends. You see, the wish has to be at least possible, and it has to be sincere. The item responds only when these two conditions are met, and after it starts glowing like this, Ita Etu Kali. Isn't Ita Etu a summoning spell? If that's how the item's used, I can't say the spell. Ta-da! Then the Eye of Perishment attaches itself to your body somewhere, and you develop to the next stage. It could become a necklace or an earring. Of course, I'm only a human, so that didn't happen. And then he's getting shaken down. Are you trying to find the item? It's no use. I told you I'm a human, so it doesn't work. I can't develop, so the item doesn't attach to me. It just disappears. Wow, so he got the item from his clan in order to develop to the next stage, and Kaz told him how it worked, but screwed him over. Now he doesn't have the item, and also he can't use magic. He can't speak aloud. So is it just impossible for him to use it anyway? Can it only be used by Gnostikas since they can speak? He's thrown into the wall. Huh, I knew it. Does it make any sense for a half to be looking for an item that lets superior Shuras develop, I knew it would be you from the start. But you know, the item isn't going to appear just because you kill me. If you want the slightest possibility of finding it, you'll have to keep me alive. The value of a life end. Next chapter, Twisted Bird. Stupid bird, stinky bird. Okay. Very, very good ending here. This stuff is so good. Again, I yapped a lot about the idea of heaven in the world of Kubera. The way that works was so cool. That was such a good reveal. And the way that it now affects, like, having that knowledge has to hit you hard. Like, Lila now knows, oh shit, I'm probably screwed. But also worse than that, that all of these other people that she thought were good people, her friend, Jibril, who she thought was a good person, it's like, no, they don't make it. Like, that's gotta be harsh knowledge for a human to learn, for anyone to learn. And I love the stuff here at the end with Kaz. He's, again, a character that was like nothing. He was just a hint. He was a plot device through seasons 1 and 2. And he's such a cool character here. I love this. That's so good. Worried about it being called Twisted Bird, though. Worried about that. But either way, I'll end things here. I loved these chapters. I thought this was amazing. Value of life overall was great. I yapped a bunch and talked a bunch as I went through all of the chapters, so I don't have much of a big review at the end other than it was great. We went through all the dream stuff. It was amazing. We got back into the conflict at Color Bloom. It was amazing. We took care of some characters that we were seeing already, but mostly we dealt with characters that we weren't already. Like, we before were dealing with like Agni and Gantarva and everything for most of the season so far, or even earlier than that, like Ron and some of the others. But now we were dealing with Brilith with some of the most development she's gotten since early on. Kaz with some of his most. Marna was really good. Crazy deep development for Claude and Lila, who've been around, but Claude especially, I think, got so much here. Lila was done so well. Chandra, again, when Chandra first showed up, that first panel, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to like this fuckboy. But even by the end of season 2, I loved Chandra. I thought Chandra was great by the end of season 2. And Chandra, just season 3 so far, we're 33 chapters in, and has been great the whole time. I think Chandra is one of my favorite characters at this point. So yeah, I loved all of this. And even like the small things with what's going on with Agni and Gantarva and some of the others that we'll get back into eventually. Very, very good stuff. So yeah, and also the mystery of what Lee's is, kind of. So with all that aside, I don't think I have more to say. Let's go read the afterword and then go to an intro or outro. All right, the last one says, the value of a life chapter is ended. The title of the next chapter is The Twisted Bird. Please don't automatically think of Marna just because it says bird. Anyway, the chapter title is ambiguous. I guess is The Twisted Bird, what happens to Samphadi at this point? Or, is it going to be Utah? Because Utah would very much be the Twisted Bird. If you haven't read Kubera Part 3, Episode 33 yet, here's the link. Then The Day the Stick was created. Some of you were wondering why the staff of Huachon that Brilith is holding in Episode 31 of Part 3 isn't the form Lorraine modified it to. Well, 7 years have passed, everyone. That's plenty of time to use modification magic a lot. Then spot the difference. There are a few similar panels in this episode. I intentionally repeated similar shots, but they aren't exactly the same. Oh, in the beginning of this episode, the place where Catleys peed is the bottom right of that panel. If you look closely, you can see something drawn. Yeah, I noticed. I drew it at the end just in case you misunderstood and thought she was rolling around in the spot where she peed. Then Innocent Marna versus Master of Acting Kaz. This isn't the first appearance of the Mortal Eye. In episode 18 of Part 3, Marna took it out of his pocket and suddenly showed it off to Gantarva. After showing it off like that, he ended up losing it, and then the shakedown. In the meantime, he doesn't let go of the yet true. Marna is still holding the leash for Catleys. That leash. I wonder if it'll be let go by the end of this episode. Okay. Really, really cute. very fun stuff. All of that was amazing. Incredibly, incredibly good. So, with all of that aside, I don't think I have more. This is going to take forever to edit, so I guess I need to go work on that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this week's set of chapters, what you thought of my first thoughts and reaction and everything. Like, comment, subscribe for more Kubera, much more on the channel. If you want to help support the channel by sharing around or dropping a super thanks, it's really appreciated. Thank you for always sharing around on Reddit. I don't use Reddit, but I really need to remember to say huge thank you so much from the beginning too. Thank you, and for everybody who comes from there, thank you. And in addition to that, if you want to drop a super thanks, it's appreciated. If you want to become a member or patron, you can hit join down below to become a member, or go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you so much that way. You get your name at the end of videos and get One Piece Bingo a bit early. Technically, I made an updated version like a week ago for the members and patron thing, but the only difference really was that Evan Hawley isn't a member or patron anymore, but I have been forgetting to change it out, and I feel like just remove it. Like, I want to thank people for supporting anyway, so it's not like I'm in the rush to change things just to remove somebody. So thank you everybody. Thank you to Chosen Regulars Evan Hawley and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls DD Ban and Tomorrow, Cheriton Student David Langstaff, Slayer Candidates SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element Pater Diallo. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching. I think somebody's going up a crown in a couple, like literally a week at August 20th, though. I think it might be Pate's going up to silver, maybe. So thank you so much to everybody. Thank you for being members and patrons, and I'll see you all next time.